heroes of the sport, inspiring kids that want to become a star of the future. Records are set, then chased and erased. 32 of 36 races are complete, with one team hoping to move one step closer to history. The Atlanta Motor Speedway is the home of history and hope. Today's race could be the start of something special, or the end of it.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Some 100,000 fans on hand hoping to see 43 of their racing heroes go 500 miles today. It's a race as much against the competition as it is against the weather, though, at this point, as a large front of rain is west of here and threatening the full distance of this race. And a look at the starting lineup for today's race. Newman with Bobby Labonte alongside on the front row. Bobby, of course, a six-time Atlanta winner and won here back in March. Row 2, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Brian Vickers. Vickers making his debut for the Hendrick Motorsports Winston Cup team, getting a jump on his 2004 ride. And Bill Elliott, today's honoree in the Winston Victory Lap program, being honored for his 1988 championship, his 43 career Winston Cup wins, and appropriately BP honored before his home state Georgia fans that have been so loyal to him over the years.
Yeah, let's try to talk to Bill. Bill Elliott, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Hello, BP. How you doing there, good buddy?
I am doing good. How special does that feel up here in front of all these guys, in front of your home fans?
I want to do it in lap 325 to be truthful, but it's, you know, Winston's been a great part of our sport. It's just great to be a part of the celebration of them this season. Hate to see them go. You know, hopefully have a good day today and see what happens.
It was 15 years ago you got that championship. Can you get to victory today?
Well, I certainly would like to hope so, BP. You know, these guys have worked awful hard on this Dodge dealer, UAW Dodge. We'll give it a run for the money.
Bill, congratulations on a great career and good luck today.
You, BP. Good talking to you.
Bill Elliott starting in 5th position today. 3 top 10 finishes the last 3 weeks. See if he can put it in victory lane today here in Atlanta. And boy, would the people go crazy if he did.
Oh, they would love to see it. He grew up in North Georgia, up around Dawsonville.
Still lives there. Blairsville, Georgia. We look at the rest of the starting lineup. Ward Burton in the 0 car this week. A lot of guys getting a jump on 2004. We talked about Vickers in the 25, Joe Nemechek in the Army car, the 01. Ward's in the 0, Scott Wimmers in the 22.
You guys had a couple days of practice on me, so you're going to have to help me out today.
And I'll tell you what, Bobby Hamilton Jr., one of the last qualifiers, was very, very fast in practice. We might see him go from the back to the front here today.
Mark Martin kind of been struggling here all weekend. There's Scott Wimmer, his debut in the 22. And Ricky Rudd in his 800th NASCAR Winston Cup start, just the 4th driver ever to reach that milestone. Did not qualify. Big field here trying to get into the race. 49 for 43 spots. And moving to the back, Ward Burton in a backup car after a practice crash on Saturday morning, and Mark Martin had an engine failure during the weekend. He will drop to the end of the field. Well, track's dry.
Worth a lot of money. Matt Kenseth could win this race. A bonus of about $330,000.
Yep.
And it would ease his mind so much more than the money.
And just to fill you in on the details of that, only the championship leader can get that money if he wins a race. It's been rolling over at 10 grand a week for a long time.
Wow.
So if Matt Kenseth wins today, it's an extra $330,000. Weather today, bottom line, is the important one. Cloudy with a chance of rain. Laps, 500 miles on one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. We're underway in Atlanta.
Wow, a lot of cars look like they got a little wheel spin there, BP, on the start with this racetrack being green.
Yeah,
on the tires.
I wondered, he Casey Mears go to the outside and jump the start.
He most certainly did, BP. Black flag coming up for Casey Mears.
You have to stay behind the car in front of you on the green flag. You can go to the outside and pass on restarts on the caution, but on that green flag, you just got to stay there. Look at him, 3 wide off 4.
Ryan Newman leads lap 1. Bobby Labonte second. Dale Jr. third. Bill Elliott fourth. Brian Vickers and Joe Nemechek run fifth and sixth. 3 wide behind him for seventh. That's Casey Mears riding that rim, and he's got to find a way to the bottom to serve that black flag penalty. He's got to get to pit road.
Yeah, it's going to be that's going to be tough for him to do. He's got a lot of cars underneath him right now, so he's better off just getting up on that high line and getting out of the gas. So all these cars will pass him so he can get pit lane, because after a couple laps, they're going to stop scoring him. Now he's down to the bottom, so he'll come in this lap.
Elliott Sadler just came out of the, Dale Jarrett just came out of the gas in the middle of the pack and dropped to the end of the field. Follow up on that in a minute from pit road, but the 88 car's off the pace.
I'll tell you what, when you get loose here at this plate, go ahead, Matt.
Sean Parker just clicked on the radio and said left side only, left sides only.
Caution's coming out. Dale Jarrett has just dropped a tire carcass, if you will, in turn 1. And that's a huge break for Casey Mears, who gets to serve his black flag penalty under the yellow flag.
So he will not lose a lap.
And you can see the damage there behind the left rear tire of Dale Jarrett's car. When that tire flew off, it did some damage on the body there.
Let's go back and show you what Benny was talking about.
Here's the 41 car, and watch as he dives to the outside and goes by Kevin LePage in the 4 car before you get to the start-finish line. That is a no-no.
And remember the definition in the act of passing.
Watch the left rear here. See it? You can see it's already down.
Ooh, and Jarrett's almost...
Man, I'll tell you what. That definitely gets your attention.
At this track?
Oh, man, I'm telling you what. When you get loose here, it takes your breath away, and I mean for a while.
And he's riding, there is a tire inside the tire, and that's what he's riding around. Oh, now you saw the outer tire, what grips the racetrack, fly off the car.
Don't pull it too hard to get it, you know,
That's
parachute out there and pull the crush panel apart.
So
Just make
caution
sure
is
you
out
get it
just a
back
couple
straight.
of laps into the race for Dale Jarrett, dropping some debris on the track in turn 1. What championship fights we have as we come to the conclusion of this 2004 NASCAR racing season.
And not only did Brian Vickers lose the lead, he went from 1st to 5th, and it can happen every week in the NASCAR Busch Series as close as it is.
It's going to come right down to the last laps at Homestead, that's for sure.
Oh, now that's legal. What is that flying off?
Lost something, yeah.
What's that flying off the cars?
Piece of metal or something just got kicked up, or tape, or...
Restart was a little bit late.
Yeah, we saw the restart line across the racetrack, and I think that Ryan Newman was a little bit late getting back on the throttle. Look at Kurt Busch go 3 wide in 1.
Very nice.
He knew that rookie in that 25 car Vickers.
Let him give it to him.
Yeah, he'll back off. He might this time, Kurt, but next year he probably won't.
NASCAR spotters have taken a look at whatever that was that flew up on the racetrack and determined it was a piece of fiberglass or something from those body panels on the cars, and it's okay, so it's out of the way.
It's okay. It's not going to injure other cars, but it's not okay for the car it came off of.
Second place, Dale Jr. on Bobby Labonte, and quickly through. Now Kevin Harvick up on the back of Labonte for third.
I think when you're on fresh tires, the bottom lane, I think, is really fast. And then when you start getting off your tires, start burning your fuel load off, that's when you'll see a lot of these cars start moving up to the top of the racetrack.
While we watch some of this action, let me just tell you that Dale Jarrett did stop under the caution flag, took on fresh tires. He's on the lead lap in 42nd place. And also Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, and Casey Mears pitted and took on tires under that caution.
That 97 car, Kurt Busch is on the move.
And for third place, on the move is Kevin Harvick. Another spot for the 29 car. Started 10th. He's up to third. 9 laps into the race. Matt?
Bobby Labonte has slowly faded back and forth. He came on the radio and told his crew chief, Michael Fatback McSwain, he says, when the 8 got up around me, it made me extremely loose. And that was one of the conditions he was fighting most in the final practice session, loose on entry.
Not good here in Atlanta, let me tell you.
Not at 190, 95 miles per hour. That's not good. Here they come. Tony Stewart, that 20 car, the victor in Charlotte just a couple of weeks ago. On the move.
He just passed both of those cars off of turn 4. He hung a left, put his left sides right on that white line, and went by both Mayfield and Nemechek.
And he got down to that corner and he made a left turn to get down to the bottom. Wow,
that's having some confidence in your race car.
Michael Waltrip looking inside of Brian Vickers, just ahead of Tony Stewart. That'll be for 11th place.
And look carefully, folks, because that's probably the last time you'll see the 15 that low on the racetrack. Once again, Tony Stewart goes 3 wide.
Oh, man, he's flying. Tony Stewart started 24th. He just took 12th place away from Michael Waltrip. And about to take 11th away from Brian Vickers. Bill?
And just a note about Brian Vickers, his car's a little tight, just his second Winston Cup start, but he's having trouble on the restarts because the transmission is not geared like his Busch car, so he's learning by doing now in the Winston Cup Series.
I think he's going to learn by doing a lot.
Yeah, I think he's learning a lot about aerodynamics right now, too, because these guys in Cup, there's so many competitive cars, and if they see a rookie out there, they're going to go and try to get him loose. They're going to mess with him
for the lead.
How about that 29 car going by Junior Harvick to second place?
Junior got right up behind Ryan Newman, but kind of hesitated with trying to cut underneath him, and Harvick went right around Junior on the outside off of 2.
And no hesitating for the lead for Harvick.
First lead change of the race, Kevin Harvick out front. Very impressive. And you know, with this weather around, you just sense a little urgency on the part of all these guys when you were down there this morning. They all know that there's no wasting any time.
That's exactly the way Tony Stewart was racing, like, hey, this thing's going to end in 5 laps. I got to get to the front. Dave, what are they saying about Junior's car?
Well, you just saw him pass Ryan Newman on the inside for second. Wally was talking about how these cars were so good on the bottom on new tires, and that was Junior's chosen line. They told him, hey, other guys like Michael Waltrip and Tony Stewart, they're getting by on the outside, coming up through the pack, but Junior, you know where you need to run, and so far, he's been doing it on the bottom. Bill?
Very quiet on Kevin Harvick's radio. No communication, similar to what they had last week. They only wanted to talk about things when it was important. This morning, I talked to his crew chief, Todd Berrier, and his car owner, Richard Childress. I said, you have a mathematical plan to try and catch Kenseth by getting it within so many points by Homestead. Childress and Berrier both said no. Childress said he told his team, do what you've done to get here and keep your eye on the ball. That's always been my philosophy. Let's see if it works for him this year.
Yeah, and of course, Richard Childress, a 6-time Winston Cup champion, team owner, has all that experience for this team to draw on.
And Richard Childress, I was talking to those guys in the, here we see Matt Kenseth as he tries to come through the field. He's in the 25th position. Steve Park, Jamie McMurray right in front of him. Bill, what's Kenseth saying?
Not much, Benny. His car was a little tight. They talked about pitting under the caution, decided not to. This car is no good for 4 laps. Then it takes off like a rocket. Wally, I believe that's similar to his Busch car yesterday, because did you see him when he went past you in a blur yesterday in the Busch race?
Yeah, there's a couple of cars in the Busch race yesterday that were just terrible for about the first 15 or 20 laps.
Well,
but then they came on strong.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking for out of this 17 car. Started 37th and marching forward.
And that's exactly what he did yesterday, right down on the bottom of the racetrack, right on the white line. And it's working again today.
Weren't with us yesterday. Matt Kenseth started at the back of the pack in his Busch Series car because of an engine change. He was leading at lap 50. I don't think he'll get to the lead by lap 50 today. This is a little bit tougher field, but...
And check this out. He's going to the top to see, just to make sure it's not faster up there once he got clear of this traffic.
Well, one thing, if you're going to run on the bottom of the racetrack, you have to have a lot of motor. If your car is going to be down the bottom, when you get on the gas, it finds your car up coming off the corner. So you got to have a lot of engine.
Kevin Harvick exploring the upper regions of Atlanta Motor Speedway's banking. He's the leader early in today's race.
Seeing here, the 20 car Tony Stewart is going forward. The 12 car Ryan Newman started on the pole is inching his way backwards. He's now back to the 7th position. And Jimmy Johnson, 48, right behind him.
Ball car looks like it might be tight, the way he's sliding up the racetrack.
Just on the corner, good, man.
Tony Stewart is on the move. He started 24th, Matt. He's up to 6th.
Atlanta, a special place for Tony, the home of his sponsor, Home Depot, but also the home where he scored his first 500-mile win in his racing career. Early on, just like his teammate Bobby Labonte, the 20 car was loose, but now it has started to come back to him. A little tight on entry into turn 2, a little tight up off the corner as well. Tony says the car is really coming to him. He's very happy.
Working on Jeff Gordon now to pick up 5th place if he can.
That bottom line is just, if you can get your car to work down there and you've got the engine, it is the fast way around this racetrack. Dave, what's going on with the 12 car? Is he tight?
Actually, I put down several notes, tight, loose, tight, loose. He just radioed in, though, and said, it feels like I've got a ton of air in the lefts. What would that make it feel like?
Ton of air in the what?
In the left side tires.
Oh.
So what do you think that is, Wal?
I don't know. I guess that'd be tight.
That was the last thing he reported, and also cars behind him make him loose off the corner.
Sound like the whole car is sliding across the racetrack, that the left just isn't gripping the way he wants it to.
Here's the race for 5th place as Tony Stewart continues digging right along that white line at the bottom of the track.
And right behind the 9 car, Bill Elliott. Jeff Gordon looking pretty good right now, Bill.
Yeah, looking as good as they did yesterday in the practice. Very happy with this car. It debuted at Charlotte, had a decent run there. Just its 2nd time out here, and see that high line? Robbie Loomis told me this morning that Jeff worked on that in practice because he wanted to make sure the car was good, not only at the bottom of the racetrack, but in that high groove as well.
The only problem is the guys that are working the low groove are going to pass you.
Yeah, because they've got a much shorter distance to go as Tony Stewart goes by, starts working on Bill Elliott.
A lot of chatter on the NASCAR radio back and forth about raindrops. NASCAR race director David Hoots talking to his spotters out in turns 2 and turn 3, and the caution's coming out for rain.
Caution's out.
2nd caution, 50 miles into the race, 32 laps. And this one for Mother Nature. If you're new to NASCAR and you're not familiar with NASCAR rules, all this talk about rain and halfway and so forth, once the leader has completed half of the scheduled race distance, if weather interferes with the race and NASCAR doesn't see conditions that would allow it to be concluded for the remainder of the day, they can call it an official race at that point. But that's after the leader's completed the halfway point of the race. We're nowhere close to that right now. Here come the leaders onto pit road, Bill.
Kevin Harvick leading the race and chasing Matt Kenseth in the championship standings. The car just a little bit. He underscored just a little bit tight. 4 tires and fuel, no chassis adjustments, Matt.
Bobby Labonte already in. His car had stabilized on a scale of 1 to 10. He said it was tight on a scale of 3. A slight air pressure adjustment on the 18 car. That's it, Dave.
Very slight adjustments needed on Dale Jr.'s car as well. Just a little free in, a little tight off. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment to accommodate that. Change 4 tires and try to win the race off of pit road. He came in 2nd. He will not win it.
Kevin Harvick out first, Bobby Labonte, then Bill Elliott, then Tony Raines, who I'm not sure if he missed his pit or just took a couple of tires.
I believe he did. He was a real close call with one of those cars. I couldn't tell if it was Busch.
Marty, you have the answer to that for me?
What happened, Alan, was when Kurt Busch left his pits, he hit Tony Raines and literally pushed him past his pit. So there may be some right front fender damage on the 97 car. That could be the bigger implication for those guys. That would really hurt their aerodynamics. Tony Raines will have to come back down pit road and pit this time.
Because he has a left rear tire flat.
Probably from the contact with Kurt Busch.
Be a good guess.
Well, that's not too good. So Tony will have to come back down pit road this time. Not pitting under that last caution was Elliott Sadler. Only car that didn't stop, and so he's going to lead 1 lap here as he comes across the stripe. And another lap around, and we'll see if he did that just to collect bonus points or if he's going to not stop here.
This is Matt Kenseth on board his car as he looks back at Kurt Busch, get ready to leave, and Busch drives out.
No, that was Dave Blaney.
I'm sorry, Blaney. Thank you, boys.
How about Matt Kenseth, Bill?
15.5 seconds, Alan. He had earlier said the car was tight. Before he came in, it was just a little bit loose, so they made a slight air pressure adjustment to try and free him up, or actually to tighten him up just a little bit. It was a little free. So it was tight earlier, got loose. Now they're trying to tighten him back up with an air pressure adjustment, 15.5 seconds.
Okay. Matt Kenseth off of the pit lane in 23rd position after this round of pit stops. So we're under caution for rain. A lot of individuals on pit road now as they brought the field down and put the race under the red flag and starting to cover the cars up here. As the rain has fallen and stopped this thing just short of, just after rather, 50 miles here in Atlanta. Red flag is out. So the main stories of the day are championship leader, the race leader, and a race contender with a damaged race car from the few laps that were run yesterday. Alan Bestwick here in Atlanta live. Wally Dallenbach alongside. Benny Parsons is off attending to some family business today. His father Harold feeling a little under the weather. BP says HP is the world's biggest race fan. So Harold, hope you're feeling better real soon. And the cars are on the track. Let's show you quickly what happened yesterday to get us to the lap 40 mark that we're at today. Race went green at 12:33 Eastern time under heavily overcast skies, and just a few laps in, it went wrong for Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett cut a left rear down, but got the car saved, which is a good thing.
Lap 7 on the restart. Watch the 4th and 5th cars in line. Brian Vickers punches the back of Bill Elliott's Dodge. Minor damage to Elliott's car. Vickers, though, cooking his engine after knocking the radiator out. Kevin Harvick
takes the lead. Pole sitter Ryan Newman
stormed up from 10th starting spot in those opening 14 laps, and Harvick is still the leader. Then watch this on pit road.
Yeah, here's Kurt Busch. He leaves his pit stall, and Tony Raines was trying to get into his, and they made a little contact there, and it did some damage to the right front of Kurt Busch's car. And here, aerodynamics is very important, so that's why, like Marty said, you have to get in and get it fixed.
And before they could go back racing from that caution flag, which was for rain, the skies really opened up. The cars were stopped, and they hadn't moved until just now. But they're back on the track, and again, the speedway is dry. We'll see the green flag coming up just moments from now. Tell you what, for a Monday, look at the people that are here in Atlanta. And they're all standing up as the cars come down to restart this race.
And green, green, green.
Todd Bodine's in the wall, and there's more spinning in the traffic jam behind him. Kevin LePage has gone around. Oh! Kenny Wallace there with contact.
Yeah, he just jumped over somebody. You know, I don't know who it was, but on that restart, I was watching Todd Bodine and another car go through the corner, and they were very, very close to each other. And when you run that close together through the corners, the guy in the bottom gets loose. I'll have to see if we can get back to that replay, but we talked about green racetrack.
Yeah.
Slippery.
Kenseth get some damage, Bill?
On the radio says I was in it. May just be sheet metal, but look for him to come down pit road when it's open. They can't see the car yet.
Left rear corner folded up under a little bit. It doesn't look like anything major, Bill. Front fenders are intact.
I got to look at it as it went down the front stretch. They're talking about it on the radio. Robbie said I might want to look at it one more time before you come in.
Only area of concern might be where they put the fuel into the car. They'll have to take a look at that.
See those two cars I was talking about? See how he's on the bottom? Or actually, the car on the bottom got loose and got into Todd Bodine.
Yeah, that's Michael Waltrip.
Yep. So Michael, when you run this close to the corners like that, you really, the aerodynamics on that car on the bottom of the racetrack isn't there. And now these other guys get just caught up with everybody checking up.
Yeah, it looked like Kenny Wallace went up over the top of Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s right rear. Top of the screen, right-hand side.
Yeah, Michael was just saving his race car. Got into the back of Todd Bodine.
And now in the jam up, somewhere in there, Matt Kenseth gets run into from behind. See Hamilton Jr. and Kenny Wallace there.
Yeah.
This is Mark Martin's view.
Oh, talk about threading the needle.
See the damage on Matt Kenseth. I'm thinking it's Sterling Marlin that got into the back of him, Bill, because they're fixing up the nose on Marlin's car now, and he was running right behind him at the time.
Matt said, I was watching the wreck in front of me. Somebody ran into me from behind. They talked about coming down pit road. Then they talked about having Mark Martin pull up and look at the car. They looked at the pictures on television, decided to bring Kenseth down pit road. So here he comes. Originally, they were going to put 4 fresh tires on it. Robbie Reiser, very calm as the crew chief, giving instructions. Matt said, leave the tires alone. They only have half a lap on them. Just bang out, make the repairs to the car. They go to the left rear first. They were worried that this was flared out too far. They've got a patch ready to put on it, working on it behind the car. They also want to see if anything's loose underneath. Robbie says, if there's anything loose, we'll fix it and then send you back out.
Atlanta Motor Speedway, where today's race is under caution, and Matt Kenseth's team continues to make repairs on his car. Bill?
Left rear tire is off. They're ready to put it back on. The left rear crush panel was knocked loose, so they're trying to rivet that back into place. They don't want that loose. That helps keep the fender out, and it also helps keep the fumes out of the car. They're putting the left rear tire back on. They don't want to get caught by the pace car. It's going to be tough. They're tightening the lugs. He's going to have to speed down pit road. He's on his way. It'll be close down there, Alan.
Yeah, but if he speeds down pit road to beat the pace car, it won't cost him anything because he's already at the end of the pack, Bill, and he'll just start at the end of the longest line would be the penalty for speeding. And that's what he does. Beats the paddle. When the pace car gets to a certain point on the racetrack, that official at the end of pit road has a paddle that he flips to stop. And if you don't beat the pace car to that point, you lose a lap.
And it was about as close as you can get on that one.
Now look at this as they run. Matt Kenseth now back in 41st place and Kevin Harvick leading.
Yikes.
It's a long way to go.
Yep.
Only 50 of 325 laps complete, rather. So Kenseth's got a lot of time. But it makes it interesting.
It makes it interesting. Hopefully they got that crush panel fixed, because that could be a problem. Get some fumes inside the car.
So Matt Kenseth back in 41st position. Todd Bodine treated and released from the medical center. His car done for the day. And Kevin Harvick brings the field back around for the restart.
Green.
Let me just update. Kenseth is back in 39th because Sterling Marlin and Kenny Wallace came off the pit lane after him for further repairs. So we'll keep an eye on Matt here in these few laps of racing and see how he progresses up through the field. Up front, Bobby Labonte and Bill Elliott trying to put some pressure on Kevin Harvick.
I think they're all feeling out the racetrack still a little bit, making sure that grip is there.
Farther back, first side-by-side racing, Dave Blaney and Greg Whipple. 77 and 16, that's for 13th place. Ricky Craven searching out the high line already.
Yeah, both times on the restart, Ricky got to the top right away.
32 cars, Craven. He's kind of like Michael Waltrip. You talk about Michael being one of the first to search the high line out. The Craven's usually right there, right behind him. Yeah. Ooh, whoa, a little too high.
This is a racetrack that you have to search because your car's never going to be perfect here. You're going so fast around this racetrack, and there is a bottom and a middle, and also a high line. And you have to, every once in a while, you have to start looking around the racetrack to see where your car is going to run fast. And you have a guy telling you your times, but you can tell by looking in the mirror. You know, if you run a line and look in the mirror, that guy that was following you is closer, well, I better try something different.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't it.
Robbie Gordon took 15th place from John Andretti a minute ago. Saw that in the singular car. And here's Bobby Labonte, 6-time Atlanta winner, trying to get the lead from Kevin Harvick. It's uncanny, the success that Labonte's had, especially since this track was reconfigured to this layout for the fall 1997 race. He's won 5 times here in 12 races.
That's amazing. Kind of both trying to run the low line. Harvick going to go in a little bit higher than Bobby that time.
And behind him, Tony Stewart on Bill Elliott for 3rd place as Labonte goes for the lead on Harvick. Shaping up like a Joe Gibbs kind of day in the early laps.
Yeah, looks like he got behind Harvick, got Harvick a little bit loose there in 3 and 4. Just enough to get him up the racetrack so Bobby could turn underneath and make the pass.
So Labonte, the new leader, Matt.
Bobby really hasn't said a whole lot on the radio, Alan, but his crew chief, Michael Fatback McSwain, talking to engineer Brandon Thomas, using his hands and smiling, just showing how strong that 18 car was compared to the 29 on entry into the corner, and especially on exit, how much room he gained as his teammate, Tony Stewart, starting to work Kevin Harvick as well.
Stewart up from 24th starting spot and going for 2nd. You're not wearing your grapevine shirt today, are you?
No. You see Stewart trying to get to the bumper of Kevin Harvick. Try to get him a little bit loose like his teammate Bobby Labonte did. Weber, what are they saying about Harvick's car?
Tight, tight, tight. That help you out?
Yeah. Must be tight.
At least he's consistent. Tony, though, not quite able to get past him and pick up the spot. Jimmy Spencer working on, or being worked on by Jimmy Johnson for 7th place. Johnson in that 48, just went around Ryan Newman in the 12 to pick up the 8th spot. And Tony Stewart still all over Kevin Harvick for 2nd. Ryan Newman's not getting around here very well right now. After starting on the pole, he just got shuffled back to 10th spot by Jeremy Mayfield. And ahead of him, Jimmy Johnson to the outside of Jimmy Spencer. And that's going to be for 7th place. And a change for the lead among teammates.
What's a lead amongst friends?
Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte changing the top spot. Joe Gibbs Racing out in front early in the Bass Pro Shops NBNA 500. For the Orange now as their car with driver Tony Stewart is out in front. Now that we put some laps on in this run of the race, starting to see that front of that pack just stretch out a little bit.
Yep, you see a lot of different, like I said, a lot of cars are searching right now. You see cars all over the racetracks in the corner, up high, in the middle.
And now leader Tony Stewart catching the tail end of the pack, beginning to put some cars a lap down. That's Scott Wimmer in the 22 this week for Bill Davis, his new ride for the rest of this season and next. Terry Labonte going a lap down. Dave?
Yeah, we talked about loose earlier. That's what's wrong with the 22 right now. Scott radioed in very, very loose. They'll try to take care of it on his next pit stop.
Problem is, obviously when your car's loose like that, and you're trying to wait for a pit stop, you got a guy like Tony Stewart that's flying around the racetrack, and he's going to put a lot of cars a lap down because his car's not loose.
Wimmer, one of several driver shifts for the rest of this season that began here this week at Atlanta. He's in the 22. Ward Burton went to the 0. Joe Nemechek to the 01 from the 25 that Brian Vickers has taken over because he's going to drive that car next season. Follow all that?
You're kind of following it. I don't know if I can keep up with it.
You're counting on me to keep up with it, is what you're doing. Tony Stewart does not typically run a high line around a racetrack. He's nailed his car right to that white line at the bottom. But look at these other guys. One way up the top, one in the middle.
Searching for that grip.
Jeff Gordon on Kevin Harvick for 3rd place. 24 car, started 19th. 3-time Atlanta winner. And, of course, the winner of last week's race at Martinsville, Virginia, his 5th straight top 5 finish. Jeff Gordon trying for back-to-back wins for an 18th time in his Winston Cup career. But he's won 17 times now. He's won 2 weeks in a row. Jeremy Mayfield has an impressive drive for that 19 car as he tries to work Dale Jr. over for the, what's that, 6th place.
Yeah, I've been watching Jeremy's lap times, and they've been really, really good. They've been like the 2nd or the 3rd quickest. So we'll see. Marty, what are they saying?
They've been very consistent, Wally, and they had such a positive feel yesterday trying to hold off Dale Earnhardt Jr., as you see. Yesterday in the red flag, I talked to Jeremy, he said, you know, we have a car that can honestly win this race. They are up in the 6th position now, trying to move forward. Jeremy just signed a contract to be here through 2005. Side-by-side battle with Bill Elliott and Kevin Harvick.
Mayfield's teammate for Ray Evernham. Elliott moving forward. Harvick's car, now that we've got some laps on the tires in this long run, beginning to slip back a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like the Dodges are, their times aren't falling off as much. What's going on with Harvick's car there, Mr. Weber?
It's just, he's really fighting for the handle of it right now. He's sliding the front tires. First he said he was tight getting in. Then he said it was tight through the whole turn. So they're going to try and make some changes on it. Make a wedge adjustment and a left front fender adjustment when he comes in to try and help the handle of that, Wally.
Yeah, because, you know, when you get real tight here, you have to wait on the gas. You have to wait till you get almost to the center of the corner before you can pick up the throttle again, because the car doesn't start to turn until you get to that point, and that's where you lose a lot of time when your car's tight here at Atlanta.
Leaders all pitted at lap 34 under the caution, so figure 65 laps on fuel. We're going to start to see some leaders green flag pit stops in a moment. Monday matinee, if you will. Tony Stewart out in front as we complete the 150-mile mark of this race. We showed you a little earlier after Matt Kenseth got the damage in the crash back at lap 46 that he had fallen back in the field to 39th spot while Kevin Harvick was leading, in the gap as they ran was just 95 points between them. Well, check it out now. Kevin Harvick has fallen back to 7th, and Kenseth has worked his way all the way back to 18th. Regaining most of the advantage that he started the day with.
Yeah, 17 cars pretty fast right now, so they've got the problems fixed. That is clicking off some really good laps.
Hey, you know, we talked about the importance of the team members and so on. In a crisis situation, minimizing the damage like that, the repairs to the crush panel and so on, that's how you win championships. How you play your bad shots, as BP likes to say. Jeff Gordon on pit road, Bill.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road. His car is free inside off, 4 tires and fuel. Kevin Harvick, who's been slipping backwards through the field, is also on pit road. We told you how his car was tightening up through the turns, wedge adjustment, 4 tires and fuel, waiting to see if they try and pull that left front fender out a little bit. Waiting on the left front tire. Now they put him right into the slow spot.
Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s been in, Robbie Gordon's been in, Ken Schrader's been in. Now more cars coming onto pit road off of turn 4. Dave?
Actually, Robbie Gordon just came in, Alan. Pushing like a dump truck was the way Robbie described it. They'll give him a chassis adjustment to help fix that. Also air pressure, 4 tires all the way around. Matty?
The wedge ran charting the back window of Bill Elliott's Dodge. The car yesterday was tight in the center. Today is tight on exit. Is the left side tires going on, Dave?
Johnson, his car had a real small line he could drive in, but he still wanted a little chassis help as well. If he overdrove it, he pushed the nose. John Andretti in as well, tight on throttle. Matt?
Both Gibbs cars on pit road. Tony Stewart calling for an air pressure adjustment in the right rear. His car, he said, was a little bit nervous on exit, meaning it was a little bit free. Meanwhile, his teammate Bobby Labonte in as well. His car running very well. Going to make an air pressure adjustment in the front tires only. Service complete for Labonte.
12 car of Ryan Newman coming in now. Wicked tight in the middle earlier. He's also been complaining of a vibration. He did not think it was the motor. They're going to make a track bar and a wedge adjustment to try to help Ryan change 4 tires as well. The engine not running the way he thinks it should today down the straightaways even. So a myriad of problems for Ryan Newman, but none that are putting him in jeopardy yet. He leaves pit road.
pit stops continue. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader, not yet having come out of the pit lane, so that's bonus points for him toward the championship. Now Jr. slowing off turn 4 in trouble. Ricky Rudd gets spun around through the grass. No caution yet. No caution yet. Now the caution comes out.
The lights were on long before the flag came out.
Well, I'll tell you what might explain that, Bill. I monitor NASCAR's race control radio, and I did not hear them call for the caution, but they control the lights from the control tower usually at most of these racetracks. Dave?
And Junior was already on pit road. They said, you want to pit anyway? They said, yep, let's just get it done. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment for him. Too loose in, tight in the center, but good off the corners. And now he stalls the car. Tough to get these cars off pit lane with those high gears.
And Ricky Rudd is stuck.
Yep.
With all this rain and everything.
He's going to need some help.
Yeah. Oh, man. The car probably didn't have that much damage, but he's going to go a lap or two down because of this. Now let's see if we can get the wrecker stuck.
Yeah, I think they'll just go handle it manually. Bill?
Huge break for the 17 and Matt Kenseth. They wanted to stay out and get bonus points for leading a lap, so they were still out because they had pitted out of sequence because of the earlier caution. Now he gets to pit under caution, running second on the racetrack. Let's see who follows him in.
Well, guys who have not stopped yet, Kurt Busch, who's the leader, Matt Kenseth, Michael Waltrip, Joe Nemechek, Johnny Benson, Dale Jarrett, Sterling Marlin, Kevin LePage, Tony Raines. They've all not stopped yet. Then you get back to Tony Stewart and Earnhardt Jr. and the other guys who just made the pit stops before the caution.
And a few of those guys were a lap down, so this is a big break for about 6 or 7 of those cars that have been put a lap down. And they get to make all that up.
Jeff Gordon is the first one a lap down the way the caution is shaken out, so he's going to get the lucky dog pass. Is it? Well, we'll check that. It might not be Jeff Gordon. It might just be where the pace car came up.
There's a bunch of them that want to be the lucky dog right now.
So Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Michael Waltrip, and the other drivers I mentioned a minute ago come to pit road to get their service under the yellow flag. Bill?
Loose off of turn 2, perfect in 3 and 4. That's what Matt Kenseth said after the caution came out. This will be 4 tires and fuel. Jack Roush came over here to watch this pit stop. Robbie Reiser said, let's beat the 97 off pit road. Around to the left side, waiting for the left side tires to be tightened. They clean the grill. He's on his way. We go to Marty.
Kurt Busch restarted 40th, Bill. He now is in the lead. The car was a little bit tight on that run, but it got a little loose the longer he ran. They gave him a tear-off off the windshield to do half a round down and wedge and half a pound in the right rear tire.
So let me see if I can sort this all out for you. We have 32 cars on the lead lap, and the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I got to count here because this is, let's see, 2, 4, 6. He is 8th in line on the racetrack in that outside lane. So he's got 7 cars on the tail end of the lead lap in front of him, plus another group of cars on the tail end of the lead lap on that inside lane in front of him. All those cars in front of the 8 are now tail end of the lead lap, and they're trying to reposition Robbie Gordon.
They better hurry.
And we're back racing. The penalty for Kurt Busch for not slowing down quick enough when the caution came out was tail end of the longest line for the restart. So that puts him back to 17th place.
Okay, now we got a lot of guys out there behind the wheel that are not very happy.
So we keep an eye on Dale Jr. that's way back in the line of cars, and all these guys hoping for a quick caution so they get a 1.5 mile free pass to come back around and rejoin the tail end of the field. Marty?
Alan and Wally, you can imagine Jimmy Finning's frustration. What was their explanation to you, and what did Kurt say about it?
I guess we advanced 2 positions, but I believe the other 2 guys slowed up before the yellow come out. They backed off. Even Jeff Gordon admitted he slowed up before the yellow come off.
Jimmy, very hot. NASCAR has told the 97 team, we'll provide you videotape that will prove what our case is. Matt?
And Tommy Baldwin spent a lot of time under that caution pleading your case. Tommy, what did NASCAR tell you?
I mean, they don't make any sense. They said we were the beneficiary. Okay, we have to come in and pit because everybody else does. We pitted. Then they told us we weren't the beneficiary, so we lost like 15 spots. If we weren't, I would have stayed on the tail end of the lead lap, been the first car behind the pace car, and been in the lead lap. You know, they screwed me.
So Tommy Baldwin obviously upset as their car now one lap down back in 33rd place. And I guess what Tommy's contention is, Wally, is if they'd have known they weren't the lucky dog, they would have stayed out and been tail end of the lead lap like all these other cars.
Absolutely. Why put yourself a lap down? I mean, that's exactly what they did by coming in. So yeah, Tommy's right. I mean, he would have left the car out there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, the top two, trying to work their way through some of these cars and keep them a lap down. Working by Ricky Craven, 32 car, 28th place, was on the lead lap. Now is not. Well, not so fast.
Yep. Hanging. Tony Stewart wanting that lead back. On the bottom here, like normally, you can get your car to work on the bottom. Your car does work on the bottom, and you have the horsepower to stay on the bottom. That's a big thing. You got to have a lot of engine underneath that hood in order to pull the car off the bottom and not hurt your momentum. If you can do that, you're going to be fast, and that's exactly where Tony's got his car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. started third, Dave. He's running first.
And I was watching him, and Wally, maybe you can help me out. He was going into the corners before that pit stop. He had to drive it in very deep on the low side because he was loose in. And now he's going in higher. So I don't know if he's fixed that or not. I'm trying to tell by the way he's driving into the corners.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, he's in traffic right now, so it's hard to tell what he's trying to do. Obviously, around these other cars, it's going to tighten his car up a little bit. But if you're loose in, you don't want to drive to the bottom. So that's one thing is if you can drive your car down to the bottom and stay there, then you're really not loose in.
Just taking a look and keeping an eye on championship leader Matt Kenseth. He is in the middle of this hornet's nest back here. Kyle Petty has been slipping back in that 45 and having some difficulties. It looked like finding a line that his car would run in.
Yeah.
And some of these guys trying to work their way around him. They've been 2 wide, 3 wide, including the 17 car, Bill.
Just in a lot of traffic right now. Nothing from Matt on the radio. Some lap times from Robbie Reiser, but trying to get through that traffic is Spotter's the guy that's really doing an excellent job riding with Matt.
Mike Kalanoff up on the roof.
Kyle he might think he has a tire going down or whatever, but you're right, boy, he is going backwards fast.
So Matt Kenseth now back up to 7th place, and Kevin Harvick just in front of him in 6th. 226-point gap as they run. So as we talked about yesterday when Matt Kenseth was trapped pretty well back in the field, a lot of racing left to do.
Yeah.
And the one thing this team has shown a remarkable ability to do all year long, and Bill can probably comment on this as well, is they've been resilient. Races where they've looked like they were going to have a bad day, they've come up with a decent finish, like Martinsville last week. Matt said, not a very good track for me. They were kind of middle of the field all day, and they didn't come up with a top 10, but they were close enough to it that it was a good points day for them. So Matt Kenseth there trying to pass Kevin Harvick for 6th place, and not quite able to get underneath him. I wonder if he'll turn the tables on Kevin. Remember when Kevin was messing with him in Charlotte when they were racing for a spot?
I don't know if Matt will do that or not.
A little wobble there when Gordon snuck in behind him.
Gordon got his car a little bit loose up there in 3, or was that 2?
Yep, and a wave by. Don't need you stuck under my back bumper.
No.
So Gordon goes to 7th, and Harvick back to 8th. Kenseth back to 8th. But still in the top 10. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now still in that heavy traffic. You see he's gone by Mark Martin, the 25th place car, taking him off the tail end of the lead lap. And now Tony Stewart trying to track Junior through the traffic and reclaim the lead.
Tony taking a look up on the high side. But Mark is pretty much taking the bottom line away, so Tony has to look elsewhere. At the middle of the racetrack. Back on the bottom.
That's Steve Park there in the 30 car trying to stay tail end of the lead lap in 24th place on Junior. So Park goes a lap down and Tony Stewart again following him up through the traffic. So kind of a little shift and a little change and a little confusion in this middle section of the race, but it seems to have all sorted out, probably for everybody except Jimmy Spencer. And now for Spencer, he's got to get up there and be the lucky dog. He's got to get himself up to first car on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's changing by the lap because these guys are putting a lot of cars a lap down right now.
All right, Stewart's hunting the bottom, and he's hunting the lead. We saw this in the earlier long green flag run where the farther they went, it seemed like the better Tony's car got against the competition.
Both on the white line. Cars are real even through turns 3 and 4.
Last 4 Atlanta finishes for Tony Stewart. 9th, 1st, 4th, 5th, led all 4.
There he is. Stewart can run down and a little bit lower in 1 and 2, and that's all it took.
So second time today, Tony Stewart is out in front, reclaims the lead from Dale Earnhardt Jr. at lap 128. Just shy of 200 miles here in Atlanta.
133 laps on the board. 30 laps to halfway. Trouble on the track, Alan. What's going on out there? Somebody smoking?
Yeah, we've got some smoke coming out of the back of the 30 car right now.
Yeah, Steve Park running 24th place.
Wow,
big smoke down in turn 1. It's not smoking on the straightaways. I wonder if he's got some fenders down on the tires or something.
I don't know. That was a lot of smoke when he came through 3 and 4 that last time. Take a look here.
Watch when you see it's not on the straightaway. When he goes into the corner and the car dives down.
Yeah,
see?
It's rubbing that left front. Ooh, you don't want that here. Just started doing that though.
Okay, so you said ooh because you thought maybe there was a caution there.
I thought
with all that smoke.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke.
Okay,
there's gonna be a lot more smoke if we don't get that fixed.
They're talking about how many laps are on those tires, and they said it wasn't smoking, but it is now.
Oh yeah.
They say he's leaning on that fender really, really hard, and I think I'd want to stay out there if it was hitting that hard.
Okay, so Steve Park in the AOL car with some troubles here, and
hopefully he doesn't cut that left front tire down.
I was going to say, see if he brings it down on pit road here and gets some attention paid to that by his crew. Bill, you are about to lead us through the field, I know. So why don't we get that started? Tony Stewart is the race leader. Just past 200 miles. Matt, go ahead and kick us off.
Big Orange, Tony Stewart continues to roll. He's opened up his lead to 1.6 seconds. On that last stop, the car was just a tick free on exit. A slight air pressure adjustment in that right rear tire. Tony hasn't said a word on the radio, which usually means good things, Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team worked on all 4 corners of that race car on that pit stop, trying to fix his entry into the corner. They did that. They heard him coming off the corner, now loose off the corner. Matt?
Bobby Labonte runs 3rd, chasing his 7th Atlanta win. His car very consistent. Yesterday and today, loose on entry, a little snug in the center, and loose on exit, Bill.
Jeff Gordon was very happy with his car on Sunday. Not much on the radio here this afternoon. Did have a little trouble under that caution, trying to figure out when they could take fuel and when they could not. They got it figured out back on the track, running well. Marty.
Bill, what an unbelievable run run for Kurt Busch after the penalty. He restarted 27th. He has just taken the 5th position away. They are having a great run right now. Kurt has not said a word on the radio. Jimmy Finning said we have 200 plus laps left. Let's whoop their butts by racing them, Dave.
During Todd Bodine's accident, Kevin LePage flat spotted his tires and pitted out of sequence. Then they stayed out and stayed on the lead lap when everyone pitted under green. Even though he's getting passed now, he's still up with the leaders. He was able to pit when Ricky Rudd spun. So Kevin LePage got lucky. He's on the lead lap and running just a little tight right now, Matt.
Joe Nemechek has climbed all the way up to 7th in the 0-1 car, now up to 6th. He says the car is a little loose on exit off turn 2. The car just a tick tight on entry into turn 3, chasing his season's 2nd win, Marty.
Matt leapfrog backwards, and you'll see Michael Waltrip. That damaged right front fender not affecting the handling on the car. A little bit tight right now. As you see Bill Elliott go underneath him, a little bit tighter the longer they run too, Matt.
Bill Elliott looking for his first win on the new configuration here in Atlanta. His car just a tick tight. His spotter, Tim Finoa, the Busch Series driver, has worked with Bill on changing his line. It has helped, Marty.
The 10 car in 10th. Matt, Johnny Benson was told last Thursday he will not be back in this car next year. Tight all the way around, but he likes his car in the middle groove. Not the bottom, not the top, but the middle. Bill?
Kevin Harvick first complaining about the traffic, then loose. Earlier in this race, he was very tight. Now he says that 29 car is spinning out loose. Matt?
2 cautions ago, a lot of work on Sterling Marlin's car. Not really the car, but the driver comfort. He couldn't hear the team couldn't hear him. On the first stop, they passed a helmet through the window. He changed the helmet on the racetrack. Second stop, gave it back. Third stop, he came in and hooked up his Hutchins device. The car a little free. Meanwhile, the 38 car of Elliott Sadler, a lot of work today. The car, though, is tight. They put a lot of spring rubbers in that right front today. Bill.
Matt Kenseth, the championship leader, coming in. Benefited from that caution. Right now, he's telling his crew this car is really loose. On lap 127, he said, I'm loose in 1. Now communicating with Robbie Reiser, really loose. Alan.
So the story of the day, championship leader Matt Kenseth coming back from being nicked up in an earlier wreck, and Tony Stewart moving up and stretching out a lead every time we've gone under any kind of an extended green flag run. Stewart up now by better than 4 seconds on second place Dale Earnhardt Jr. 19 cars on the lead lap at this point. Headed by the 20 car, Tony Stewart in search of his 2nd win here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. There would be the debris. That looks like a patch that somebody taped over maybe a hole on a fender.
Yes, it does.
That the 180 mile an hour tape was actually 150 mile an hour tape. Is that turn 1?
Turn 1. Yes, sir.
So another round of pit stops coming up. And let's see, Jimmy Johnson managed to stay on the lead lap. Terry Labonte, Jamie McMurray, some of those guys who were up there in that group that were kind of out of cycle earlier because the way that last caution fell. So Tony Stewart will lead the field onto pit road, followed by Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Joe Nemechek. Nice drive in the Army car up in 5th place.
Schrader.
And here they come. 45 mile an hour pit road speed limit today. And Jeff Gordon going to be first to reach his pit.
He has the first stall down here now that the 25 has fallen out of the race car. Just very lightly tight, just a skosh tight he was talking about. They did make a track bar adjustment. It's 4 tires and fuel to Matt.
Leader Tony Stewart in. No adjustments for the 20 car. Tony very comfortable with the way the car reacted after that air pressure adjustment. His teammate Bobby Labonte, they're shuffling the air pressures all the way around to try to fix that loose condition, Dave.
Just a little free off the corners for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Needs a little grip, so they made a chassis adjustment in the right side rear and revs the engine and leaves.
Stewart out first. Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte. And then it looks like Kurt Busch. Yeah, what a drive by that 97 team today.
The car's been very fast all day.
So caution is out at lap 153 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
climbing up on the pit wagon. I know you want to call the green. How's your car now, Robbie?
We've just been real loose, this last set, and I don't really know if it's tires or what, but we'll just try to tighten it up here and see if we can get a little better.
Okay, just got the word from a spotter. Robbie, you call the green, so we'll pass it down to Matt.
And Greg Zipadelli, looking over the tire sheet, you have to be very pleased with how that race car is running today, Greg.
Yeah, so far this Home Depot Monte Carlo's, it's been pretty neutral. We took a little bit out of the right rear that stopped before, and we'll just see how it is. We haven't been in a lot of traffic or cars behind us, so we should be all right. See if we can lead this thing for a little bit more and hopefully bring it home in victory lane.
Remember the last time we went to a race on the next day? The 20 team won it. Richmond last year.
That's right. And it was the same situation where the race started on the day before and finished on the following day. They started it on Saturday night. That was May of 2002, and finished it on the following Sunday afternoon. Pace cars off. Tony Stewart leading. Jeff Gordon second. Dale Earnhardt Jr. third. Bobby Labonte fourth. And Kurt Busch back up to fifth. Another guy who's done a great job rallying back from some early trouble. Michael Waltrip is up to sixth place.
Got in the middle there, slid up the racetrack to get out of gas and became the middle of the sandwich. Wow, who's that drifting?
That's Biff.
Yeah, having a hard time on this restart.
Yeah. So the 16 car struggled a little bit here as we get back up to full speed. Greg is running 25th place, one lap down. That 12 car, Ryan Newman, trying to make up some ground. He's also one lap down in 22nd place. Started on pole. Remember, he was one of the guys that got caught a lap in arrears when the caution came out in the middle of the green flag pit stops earlier, Dave.
And he tried and tried and tried to stay ahead of those leaders, Alan, but he just couldn't do it. His car was too tight. They made a big wedge adjustment on this last stop, hoping he could get back around the leaders and then catch a caution.
Now he's going to try to get around the leaders anyway. Right now.
Ryan Newman, now the first car one lap down, in position to get the lucky dog pass if a caution comes out, but why chance it? Get in front of the leader and do it yourself. Jeff Gordon trying to put some pressure on Tony Stewart.
Like Greg Zipadelli said, they really haven't had anybody give him that pressure so far today. So obviously it's an advantage if you can have your car out front and not have other cars around you. Aerodynamically, it's an advantage. But now Gordon is taking a look at that rear bumper.
Got a smoker into turn 3. Mark Martin. Caution is out.
And that will bring Newman around. Lucky dog.
That's second engine failure of the weekend for Mark Martin. He had one here on Friday. You can see the gloves already off, so he's obviously thinking there's no more work to be done today.
You pretty much know by the sound and the vibration if it's going to be fixed.
That's 2 for 2 in 2003 for engine failures at Atlanta for Mark. He fell out of the March race here with a broken engine. Martin now the 5th car in the garage. Derek Cope, Hermie Sadler, Todd Modine, Brian Vickers, all also out of the race, and Ryan Newman is your lucky dog. So after the opening of pit road and the opportunity to make pit stops, he'll be waved around the pace car and get that 1.5 mile pass. That's probably not a guy you want to see getting that free pass around the pace car.
No, it really isn't.
8-time winner this year. Pit road's open. So far, Kevin Harvick is the first one to come in. He was back in 10th place. And then guys farther on down, including Matt Kenseth.
I bet you they're still loose if they're coming in. Harvick's team, yeah.
Bill?
And the 17 is about 5 pit stalls behind the 29, just trying to get a handle on this car. They were running back of the field, about 15th. Figured they'd come in, take advantage of fresh tires. It's a slight chassis adjustment, working on that crush panel in the rear as well, because that has rattled a little bit loose. Taking a look at it, trying to bang in the fender. They say he's okay. And now Matt's going to take off again.
7 cars of the 20 that are on the lead lap made pit stops here. They only ran, what, 5 laps under the green on that last set of tires, so they obviously didn't like the way their cars were behaving.
Hey, Wally, just watch the 24 car. Throughout the day, Jeff Gordon has experienced a fuel stumble problem. It happens only on the restart lap, only when he gets in the 4th gear. He said last time, we've got to fix this thing, but it's not going to fix itself out there. So watch the 24 when we go green here.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to fix that, Bill, unless they pop the hood up. But, yeah, we'll keep an eye on him, see how it looks when he grabs high gear.
And the 8 car better be watching, too, if he gets too close.
I'm
to
sure
that
their spotters have told the 8 car that, hey, we're having a problem here. That was a weird deal there.
Bottled up.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart leads. Jeff Gordon second. Dale Earnhardt Jr. third. First car to the inside of the leader, Dave Blaney, 77. First car 1 lap down in 21st.
Looks like the 24 car got a pretty clean restart.
And those flashes you see reflecting off the cars from time to time as they come by. The light system is on here at Atlanta. Pretty heavily overcast day, and they do have the lights on here today.
Kurt Busch working the traffic.
Yep, Marty told us his story.
Boy, as Jeff Gordon closes up back to the 20 car of Tony Stewart. 1 and 2 anyway.
Now, they only ran 5 laps under green last time, and Gordon was all over the back of Stewart, but we've seen Tony's car be better than others over a longer run. So for him, the idea is to keep those guys behind him for a while and then begin to use his advantage.
Right.
Oh, got one going up in smoke, turn 1.
Oh, one in the wall.
One in the wall. Ricky Craven might have hit oil.
Yeah, it sure looked like he did.
Michael Waltrip's car.
It looked like he did.
Caution flag is out. 7th caution of the race. And Michael Waltrip, after being involved in an early accident back just after this race was restarted at lap 46, he was involved in a wreck. They repaired that. He came all the way back through into the top 10, Marty. And now it's gone south.
Yeah, he said, she blew. That's all he said. And Slugger Labby, his crew chief, said, take it straight to the truck. Their day is done.
Now we watch Ricky Craven here in a Tide car. It looks like he just gets in some oil here because he just shoots up the racetrack, and I'm sure he got into the oil out 15 like Alan was saying, Michael Waltrip.
So here come the leaders of the opening of pit road. Whoa, a little fake there.
One of them.
Junior came in. And I don't know if he meant to after Tony Stewart and Gordon hung it right back out onto the racetrack. Jimmy Johnson, Elliott Sadler also in. Matt Kenseth is in. Ryan Newman is in. Dave?
And there was no discussion as to whether or not that was the right or wrong move. They were going to, I don't know what they were going to do, because they really hadn't talked much other than the fact that the car was a little bit tight. So they were going to make an air pressure adjustment to change that. And they're going to change 4. Bill?
Matt Kenseth heading out, simply topped off again. Then he heads back out on the racetrack.
So we ran 5 laps of green, got a caution, ran another 4 laps of green, got another caution. And only a few pitted here. Most of the guys toward the back of the line of these 20 lead lap cars.
Hey, Bill Weber, did they take tires on the 17?
They just topped it off with fuel while he just fuel that time.
So caution out for Michael Waltrip with an engine failure. Ricky Craven into the oil and into the wall behind him. And we're under the yellow flag once again here in Atlanta. Let's see if this restart is tire sliding, brake checking variety.
Clean as a whistle so far.
Robbie Gordon was the lucky dog at that last caution. He's back on the lead lap. 20 cars now on the lead lap.
Hey, what? Tony Stewart does get very good restarts. Got 7 or 8 car lengths on Jeff Gordon already. Matt?
Wally Fatback told Bobby Labonte, you need to get it going now. You need to run your tail up. You've got to get around those lap cars because you've got some cars that are now out of sync with us. And Bobby says, I'm guessing that would be the 8, the 12, and the 48. Fatback said, yes, indeed. We can't waste any time. Hammer down.
8 car of Dale Jr. restarted in 14th place after taking the tires in the pit stop. Here's Matt Kenseth, championship leader, being overtaken by Dale Jr. in the 8. And that was for 13th place. Now Jr. working on Dale Jarrett for 12th.
Now, Junior did put 4 new tires on, did he not?
Yes.
So he's got better tires right now than most of these cars he's working around, but also he's in a lot of what we would call dirty air. There's a lot of air off these other cars right now, so it's not making his car handle very well.
Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch for 3rd place, and Bobby's around him.
Takes instructions well.
Yeah.
Bobby Labonte.
Yeah. Gotta go now.
All right.
Wave to Kurt. Thank you for the room. And now he sets off after Jeff Gordon. Tell you what, that 20 car got a good jump on the 24 on the restart, but Jeff's trying to catch back up. How about Kurt Busch's car, Marty?
He's actually pretty good at the beginning of the run, not good at the longer they run out. And he said it cuts good going into 1, Wally, but does not cut as well going into turn 3. Kind of joked when Bobby Labonte passed him. He said, welcome to the Chevy show. Sit down, take a ticket, and enjoy the movie.
Referring to the fact that Kurt Busch in his Ford is trailing 3 Chevrolets now, and that Dodge right behind him is the front running of those cars. Bill Elliott. Actually, that's Bill's teammate, Jeremy Mayfield, but Bill is next in line, and he's the first Dodge in the field in 5th. Jeremy, first car, 1 lap down, 21st place.
Got a fast race car. He can get back on that lead lap.
Those guys caught when the caution came out in the middle of the green flag pit stops earlier at lap 104. Caught him a lap down.
Boy, Stewart opened it up a bunch. Last lap or 2.
Kurt Busch, winner of this race 1 year ago. It was rain shortened on that day. This last month or so has just been so dismal. 4 of the last 5 races, he's failed to finish. And for 2nd place. Gotta go now.
He's going. I said, you just never count out Bobby Labonte here.
And there's still so much time left to go.
Tony Stewart trying to run away and hide this afternoon. 199 laps on the board, and Stewart just with an awesome race car at this point. Let's take it through the field, update your favorite drivers. Start with Tony, and here's Matt.
Trouble turn 4. Dave Blaney is spun around. Caution flag is out. He's hit the wall. Caution number 8. And that wet grass down to the inside going to be tough to get out of.
Yeah, he's a dirt tracker.
Yeah, that's true.
Get out of it.
So 77 car in some trouble here, and it puts out the caution. Ooh, Kevin Harvick, get a piece of that? Yeah,
Looks like some damage there. I don't know if that's from the 77 car, but it could be.
Harvick running in 7th place right now. And Jeremy Mayfield is going to be your lucky dog. Let's find out what happened to Dave Blaney.
Yep.
Yes, he did. So mark that one down as important in the championship, because if Harvick has to spend any kind of extra time on pit road to get that fender fixed, he's going to lose the track position advantage he has on Kenseth. Here come leaders to the opening of pit road as Blaney leaves. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, and Bill Elliott your first 5 in. Go ahead, Bill.
Gordon with a great race car, said it got just a little loose. He adjusted for that with his driving style. They're going to try and add a piece of tape to the front of the grill because it's running a little cool. It's 4 tires and fuel, and they said pack it, Matt.
Tony Stewart stopped short for an easy exit around the 9-car. Bill Elliott. Jeff Gooch Patterson already makes the wedge adjustment, a slight wedge adjustment. The car was free, Marty.
Tight end loose off for Kurt Busch in the 97 car. A 1/4 pound in the right rear tire. Half round up on the track bar. Dave?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said absolutely nothing on the radio since diving on pit road that last time. This time he merely said, car's good, give me 4.
Wow, Stewart.
First to fourth for Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
You saw Dale Jr. there flying out into the middle of that traffic. Bill?
Well, they're working on the left front of the 29 car at Kevin Harvick, a big tape bandage being put on there. And now a second one going on. Looking at the right front too, pulling the sheet metal away from the right front tire. Obviously, he's got this nose damage, more tape going on, so this car is not going to be nearly as good as it was just before this incident. Matt?
When they put the left front tire up on the hub, a lug nut fell off, costing Mike Lingerfelt valuable time. That's why they lost the lead on pit road.
Okay, first to fourth for Tony Stewart. Kevin Harvick was 6th before he got pinched up in that crash, and now he's lost all that lead lap track position. At this point, he's going to be back somewhere around 20th place.
And Mayfield was the lucky dog. I'll tell you what, you better keep an eye on him because he's got a fast race car. He'll be up front before this is over.
Jimmy Spencer led for a couple of laps under caution. He missed his pit when he came down for his stop. Now just came back in to get his service. He's back in 21st place, last on the lead lap. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, and Tony Stewart, the top 4. See if Stewart can make any quick progress up through the traffic.
Labonte's got to run off the turn 2. Wow. Look high.
For the race lead, Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon fought for the win in the March race here. Labonte with an outside pass on Jeff Gordon with about 11 laps to go to get the win.
I wonder if Gordon had any problem with that carburetor like Bill Weber was mentioning earlier on that restart.
The stumble when he hit
high gear? High gear, because I'll tell you what, off of turn 2, Labonte was a lot faster than 24 car Jeff Gordon.
I didn't hear him say anything that time, Wally, but I'll go double check for you.
And for third place, Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch trying to work their way around Rusty Wallace. 2-car, the first one a lap down. He's in 22nd place. Matty.
As Bobby Labonte has that clean air, he is still trying to work on that race car. On that last stop, they shuffled the air pressures in the front. Bobby says the car just has no grip on entry, no grip on exit.
Well, if that's a car with no grip, I'd hate to see it if he finds it. He's going to make a mockery of the field if he does. Bobby Labonte looking for his 7th NASCAR Winston Cup Series win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Earnhardt Jr., remember, gave up 3rd place for a pit stop at lap 172 when most of the other front runners didn't. Went back to 14th. He's digging his way out of that hole now. As you see Tony Stewart work on Jeff Gordon for 2nd place. Checking our Little Debbie lap leaders, Tony's been the man so far today as far as time out in front, more than twice as much as the next driver. 109 of the 220 laps that have been run.
He's gobbling up Jeff Gordon right now. Gordon looked like he got a little bit loose that last time in 3 and 4. Looks like it's sliding the rear.
But again, Tony, like we've seen all
later,
day, better later, more laps on the tires. Been racing now for what? We went back to green at lap 205, so 17 laps. Got the math right.
I'll tell you what, the meantime, Bobby Labonte's got all that open racetrack in front of him and pulled out a 2-second lead.
How about that leader there, Matty?
Well, he is motoring away. I talked to Fatback this morning. They really look at 2003 as 2 seasons. From Daytona through Daytona, 10 top 5 finishes, but their momentum shifted at Chicago when they lost the car that won with here in the spring. We got a crash.
Turn 1 and 2. Steve Park with a heavy impact. Earlier in the race, Park had a fender rub on his left front tire, though we hadn't seen it smoking lately. Boy, he shortened up the right side of that car.
Yes, he did. I see broken rotors and pieces like that sliding down the racetrack.
Steve dropping the window net. Good to see.
You're not going to crash soft here.
Ninth caution of this race.
Something definitely broke on that car. Hard to tell from that angle, but the car shoots up the racetrack like that, and I think we even see some sparks there before he hit the wall.
Go on board Ken Schrader's car for another look. He and Steve racing for a spot here.
Okay, he just hit the wall hard. Yellow's out. Still got one on your outside, clear all around.
The left front tire was either flat or something happened, and that's where that rub was earlier in the race.
Here come the leaders with 101 laps to go. Bill?
Gordon's on, just a little loose, quarter round down on the track bar, 4 tires, fuel will be on his way. Matt.
An easy stop for Bobby Labonte. So the car was just a tick free, but it's been the best that it has been all day. So no changes for the 18, Marty.
Started tight, a little loose now for Kurt Busch. They put the quarter pound back in the right front. He is not happy with the engine, however, Matt. Dave?
Junior said we're getting a little better, Car is good. Same thing, guys.
What happened on the 20?
And Tony Stewart's been in there for a long time. Look at him, we still haven't seen him yet. That's Tony way in the back of the field, just coming towards you now.
Yeah, right there.
Find your
Hit out. Well, you didn't put it back when you used it last.
I'm sorry.
They had problems in the left rear, it looked like.
So way back in the pack will be Tony Stewart, and we'll follow up from his pit and find out what happened there in just a minute. That's on the case for us. Off the pit lane, Jeff Gordon beat Bobby Labonte out. All right, Matty, what happened?
A slight miscue on the previous stop on the left front. This stop, a slight miscue on the left rear. Costly for Tony Stewart, giving up valuable track position.
Well, it really is, because now he's got to come through all those cars.
Check the race off pit road, and you'll see that the 24 team gets their man out first.
This guy's been kicking butt in the pits today, 24 team.
Yeah, good work. Look at Robbie Gordon going to get out fourth.
Bill Elliott, is that Bill Elliott there?
Yeah, that's Bill. Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch. Here comes Elliott Sadler, then Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth. Tony Stewart way back in line. Checking the scoring. As Stewart comes back around, he is going to be in 17th place from second before the stops. It's Bobby Labonte's team. Not happy they gave up the lead to Jeff Gordon on the pit stop. 100 laps to go. So we've got 22 cars on the lead lap. Ward Burton was the lucky dog on this caution. And Kurt Busch with a big jump to the outside of Jimmy Johnson on the restart. That's going to be for 6th place. 3 wide into turn 1. Jeff Gordon leads. Bobby Labonte second. Dale Earnhardt Jr. third. Robbie Gordon fourth. Bill Elliott is fifth. Then Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson racing for 6th and 7th, followed by Elliott Sadler, Ryan Newman, and Matt Kenseth, 16th to 10th on his pit stop. Tony Stewart restarted 16th.
Boy, he's got a bunch of cars in front of him right now, running side by side. Cannot get through. Matt?
Wally, right before that restart, Tony Stewart keyed the mic back and said, boys, get a good seat on the wall. You are about to see a heck of a show. We're going to the front.
He did. He just split 2 cars coming off of turn 2.
Driving in anger. So Tony Stewart there, past Dale Jarrett. That'll move him up to 13th. And the next car in front of him for a spot is Jimmy Spencer in the 7th. As we look at the race for the lead, Bobby Labonte with a peek inside of Jeff Gordon.
Got him.
And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Labonte's got to go because he knows his teammate's got a really fast race car, and he knows it's fast at the end of the run.
I don't think he's worried about his teammate yet. He's got that red car right in his rearview mirror that's come back through traffic. Junior with a little slide there. Driver 8 finished second here in the spring race of 2002. His last 4 Atlanta finishes for Dale Jr. 7th, 2nd, 5th, 3rd. He's led them all. He started 37th in March when he finished 3rd.
Goes to the bottom. I don't think he's going to have enough. Nope. Falls back in line.
Earnhardt Jr. led 4 times today for 28 laps. Last time he was out in front, he was back at lap 153. And that was during an exchange of pit stops. Last time he led any duration was at lap 105 to 128.
Looks like Robbie might be searching a little bit. The last couple laps, he's tried different lanes.
Jimmy Johnson got it moving. We saw him racing with Kurt Busch a minute ago. He's passed him. He's passed Robbie Gordon. And now he's working on his teammate and co-owner, Jeff Gordon. So that 48 car is coming alive here late in the race. Really haven't talked a whole lot about Jimmy Johnson today, Dave. Kind of been a stealth race for him.
And remember when he was out on the tail end of the lead lap, staying ahead of Tony Stewart for so long, the car was very good. The last pit stop, just a little bit tight but fast. They made a minor air pressure adjustment to help him.
That's right. Johnson, one of those guys caught just after pitting under green when the caution came out at lap 104. He restarted tail end of the lead lap and stayed in front of the then leader until he got another caution and came back around.
Just can't pull out the pass. Jeff Gordon on that high line had just enough momentum getting off the corner that Jimmy Johnson can't make the pass clean. Jimmy's just going to tuck in behind him and take another run at him. Gordon goes up the middle, and Jeff's doing the same thing that Bobby Labonte was doing. He's looking around, trying to find some grip as Johnson gets underneath him again. Now here's the key. Jeff's got to be able to stay up alongside him enough as he goes through 1 and 2. If he can, he'll have a little bit of an advantage getting off of turn 2.
Upper frame there is Tony Stewart. He's just passed Jimmy Spencer for 9th place. And that 20 car is flying up through the traffic.
But he's 5 seconds behind the leader, Bobby Labonte. That's the problem.
One other thing, just to point out, we were talking about fuel mileage ago, a little while ago. That last caution and set of pit stops has taken that out of the equation, because the stops came with 101 laps to go, so everybody's going to have to stop one more time. And then they can make it to the finish from there.
Jimmy Johnson cannot get far enough alongside that 24.
Look at Junior's left side, right down below that line.
Whoa, look at a little bit of a wiggle on the 18 there. Might be enough for Earnhardt to get him.
To the outside. Oh, then he cuts back across. Ricky Craven just back out of the garage area after repairs, and Bobby Labonte says go on.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte got a little bit loose up there in 3 and 4. That was all it took. Bobby Labonte taking a look on the low side of Earnhardt. Looks pretty good.
Boy, he was able to hold that thing low off the corner.
Yes, he did. And it looks like that 18 car can run wherever he wants. He's been up the top, he's been in the middle, he's been on the bottom. So Bobby Labonte reassumes command.
Junior back to second. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson closing in as the two cars in front of them went side by side for that half a lap. And what about Tony Stewart? Mentioned he passed Jimmy Spencer for 9th place. Let's check the gap from the leader there, Bobby Labonte, back to Tony Stewart. He's caught Robbie Gordon and Ryan Newman, and that'll be 8th and 7th that he's racing with next right in front of him.
Stewart probably has the fastest car on the racetrack right now, but just getting through these cars, it kills your lap times. Side by side like this, you're going to run 2 or 3 tenths of a second slower than if you can run and have nobody around you.
Slow car in front of him. Scott Wimmer's machine damaged in an earlier crash. Stewart slips around him, finishes the pass on Robbie Gordon and Ryan Newman.
See, that was a 31.58 lap. The lap before that, he ran a 31 flat.
Last caution flag came out for a pretty hard-looking crash on Steve Parks' behalf as we watch Dale Jr. try to hold off Jeff Gordon for second place, but the 24 is through. Bobby Labonte, the race leader. We saw his pit crew in frustration.
Ooh, Earnhardt looked a little bit loose there. Yep. Getting off of turn 4. One of his cars going on the loose side.
Follow up from pit road on that when we come back. How's that? Jimmy Johnson by for 3rd place. Bobby Labonte's crew disappointed on the pits a minute ago, happy when their driver took the lead on the track. If you're the 18, if you're Bobby, how much of the line you're choosing is purely based on your car? How much of it's based on what's going on in the mirror?
Oh, I don't think you're really worried about the guy in your mirror.
Well, he's not going to be in his mirror anymore. Jeff Gordon with the nose out in front at the start-finish line. 50 laps to go. But he hasn't finished the pass yet.
Well, but Bobby Labonte will pull back ahead now, going down the backstretch because he's got the momentum.
Michael McSwain, fatback, Bobby Labonte's crew chief. Looking on, watching his car, and having to decide when to bring Labonte in for his final pit stop. We're going to start to see, as Bill said, we're going to start to see these pit stops for the leaders soon. They were last in at lap 224.
And what little changes they're going to make. They can't make big changes because they can't spend a lot of time on pit road, especially if it's under the green. So I'll probably see a lot of tire pressure changes. Maybe a track bar.
Gordon looking for the lead again to the inside. Has he got it this time? Yep. Jeff Gordon back out in front. Matt?
We are between 11 and 14 laps from the 18 making their final stop. Bobby Labonte hasn't said a word on the radio. No thought yet on what to do to that race car on that final stop to make it just a tick better.
We need to be talking about it pretty soon.
Now, where's Tony Stewart? Check back from those top two. There's Jimmy Johnson in 3rd.
Ooh, he caught up in a hurry.
And here comes Tony. Bobby Labonte's really lost the handle on his car. Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart have both just passed the 18. So Johnson is 2nd, Stewart 3rd, and Labonte's back to 4th behind leader Jeff Gordon. Final round of green flag pit stops just getting underway for some of the lead lap cars. Jeremy Mayfield has been in. Jimmy Spencer's been in. Ward Burton is leaving pit road, and now Robbie Gordon is on pit road, but none of the top 5 have stopped yet. And you and I were just debating around strategy, if you're Bobby Labonte's team, about when and how long to wait to pit. He's obviously lost the handle late on this set of tires. Maybe it's worth gambling on short pitting. Come in and get the fresh tires now. Here's Bill Elliott in. Matt?
And Bill Elliott's in for his final stop. No changes for Bill Elliott's Dodge, chassis-wise or air pressure-wise, as Jim Pullman goes to work on that left front wheel, hits the lugs. Bill,
a winner a week ago Sunday at Martinsville, trying for 2 in a row. Says the car started out loose, but is pretty darn good. It's 4 tires and fuel. This should be the final green flag stop, Matt.
Tony Stewart in for his final stop. Scott Gertz pulls off a tear-off for better vision. A good-looking stop so far is Lingerfeld and Foster. Both hit the lugs on the left side. Service complete. The 24 is going to beat him off.
He let him in, but Tony has gained a little ground on that pit stop. He's gained some ground on the pit stop. Jimmy Johnson and Bobby Labonte, along with Dale Earnhardt Jr., are now in. You'll also see Robbie Gordon's car on the pit lane. That's a pass-through penalty for speeding leaving pit road. Matt?
And Fatback McSwain calling Bobby Labonte in. Look for a possible chassis adjustment. They were talking about it. You can see they're making a track bar adjustment as they go to work on the left side. They were also looking at a possible air pressure adjustment. The car loose, tight, and loose, Dave.
Jimmy Johnson's car was a little tight into the corner, a little loose off. Air pressure adjustment only for Johnson. 4 tires, fuel, he leaves.
And you know where Tony Stewart got the time on Jeff Gordon? Getting to the first time line, entering the pit lane. That's where he made up his time on Jeff Gordon.
Saw a pretty long stop there for Jimmy Johnson's crew. But it cost him a little time. Kevin LePage now the leader by not having pitted. Bill?
Robbie Reiser waited until Matt Kenseth would have a clean shot in and a clean shot out of his stall. No chassis adjustments. It's 4 tires and fuel. Not running to win the race, but running to win the championship.
So Raines rejoins the race. And the cycle of pit stops basically complete for the leaders. Jeff Gordon leads Tony Stewart by 1.1 seconds, Bill.
But the message to Jeff Gordon was this: you have Stewart coming hard, Jeff. Get all you can.
Amazing. 500 miles of racing, and it comes down to a matter of feet, yards, car lengths.
Happens a lot here in Atlanta.
Yeah. That's why the fans come. Great racetrack. And 5 laps to go. Greg Biffle's just taken his car to the garage. He'll be done for the day, shy of the checkered flag. All right, what's Kevin LePage's role here? Is he supposed to just move over and get out of the way? And
where's he running at?
He's last on the lead lap.
I would. I mean, you know, if you're not racing anybody, which he isn't, but he's running pretty fast right now, too. Uh-oh.
Trouble down the backstretch. It's Ryan Newman. Caution is out. And Newman's in trouble from 6th place. We have just passed the point at which the red flag would not be used to ensure a green flag finish of this one. So the question is, can they get Newman's car and any debris out of the way quickly? Jeff Gordon got another lap out of it because the pace car didn't get him until just now. And Newman's got enough damage to the left side of his car that he's not going anyplace. Dave?
Ryan radioed in that he was okay. Then they said, can you fire it up? And he said, yeah, we're running. Problem is he's not turning.
Yeah, he's got some pretty big damage to his left side.
Trying to get that car off the track so they can go back green.
He's racing with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And he just got aero loose right there in front of the 8 car. He slid up in front of the 8 car. The air got off the rear spoiler and turned himself around.
And so this race is going to finish under caution because the yellow came out after the point at which they would use the red flag to ensure a green finish.
That's a happy man because of it.
Yes, it is. Tony Stewart never got a chance to mount a final charge, though he wasn't. Well, okay, maybe he is going to express his displeasure. For Jeff Gordon, it'll be his third win of 2003 and back-to-back for Jeff. He went so long this season with the one win. Got one at Martinsville a week ago and then picked up another here in Atlanta today. His 6th straight top 5 finish. And Gordon locked in that very close fight for second in the final NASCAR Winston Cup Championship standings. Helps his cause today with maximum points for winning. Jeff Gordon is the winner in Atlanta.
Yeah, baby, 2 in a row.
Well, let's see how they ran today. Jeff Gordon with his 3rd win of this season. Tony Stewart disappointed in second. Another top 5 for Bill Elliott.
Yeah, Stewart definitely had the car to beat most of the day here today, and unfortunate deal in the pits really cost him the victory.
Top 10s for Jimmy Spencer and Joe Nemechek. Matt Kenseth, 11th place. He'll take that.
Yes, sir. Take it and don't look back.
Championship standings. Kenseth's lead gaining 18 points now. Earnhardt Jr. taking over second. Jeff Gordon up to 5th. And Ryan Newman dropping 2 spots in that tight race for second.